Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and welcome to part two of this commentated drive between Peterborough and Doncaster. In part one, we took a Class 801 Azuma up from Peterborough as far as Newark Northgate, and part two is going to be the continuation of that journey from Newark up to Doncaster. So let's get into it. Man, like Clegster, I see you streaming your Thameslink Class 700 run up to Newark Northgate. So that's kind of funny. At the exact moment I'm driving along this route, Clegster, he's streaming a Class 700 run up the East Coast mainland as well. So he's behind me somewhere at the moment. That's actually quite funny. But this video is gonna get released probably a week after it got recorded. So yeah, today is the 28th of October. Anyway, we're up to within 15 seconds of our scheduled departure time, so I'm gonna check the CCTV monitors. Be quiet. I'm gonna check the CCTV monitors, press the door close button. Ooh, that was bad. I should have checked the platform starter signal first. Sorry, it happened subconsciously in my head, but I know that the last signal that we passed was a green aspect, and then our AWS visual indication is blank as well. So yeah, I know that we have a proceed aspect up ahead of us, even though we have no platform starter signal. But I just forgot to call it out. But yeah, door interlock light has now illuminated. Final glance of the CCTV monitors. F and R switch into forward. Minimal brake. Straight into power notch 1. Notch 2 now that we're on the move. Notch 3. And finally, notch 4, full power. And we can see the green signal coming up now. Speed limit is currently 125 miles an hour. It's about to momentarily decrease to 100 miles an hour for us to cross over the Newark Flat Crossing, and that is an unmarked reduction in the speed limit, so you have to know where it is. It's marked in the other direction, but in this direction it isn't marked. So you can see the flat crossing coming up now. So the speed limit crossing over that is 100 miles an hour, and then it goes back up to 125 miles an hour shortly afterwards. Yeah, there's the board there, 125. Next station is Retford, and we don't need to worry about the braking point for Retford station because it is under approach control. So we're gonna have a turnout onto another track, and the turnout for the speed limit for that turnout is 40 miles an hour. So the signal protecting that turnout is going to be held at a red aspect until we're at a slow enough speed for it to route us onto the turnout as a safety precaution. So we're going to be seeing a double yellow and a single yellow aspect on the approach to Newark Northgate, not Newark Northgate, Retford station. So I'm still trying to learn where the neutral sections are on this route. We've got one coming up now. There was one just after departing from Peterborough, and I think there's one up near Doncaster. I can't for the life of me. Oh yeah, there's one just north of Retford as well. So yeah, man. So here's the neutral section. Now I've shut off the power to pass through that momentarily. We should now be clear of the neutral section. So I've gone back into full power. It's weird because the line volt light doesn't cut out when you pass through the neutral section. The vacuum circuit breaker doesn't open. So I'm not sure. I don't know if that's realistic, because this is quite a modern train. I know on the modern trains the whole process of passing through the neutral section is done automatically. Can see a double yellow signal, so I'm going to make a minimal brake application. It's jumped up to green, so back into full power. Yeah, with modern trains I know the whole neutral section thing is done automatically. Like the class 395 Javelin, for example, when you pass through neutral sections on the high speed section, nothing happens because the train handles it automatically. But back in the day, you would have to shut off the power, and then the circuit breaker momentarily opens and then it closes back again. You hear this massive bang. I'm not too clued up on neutral sections, you know, but I'm going to try my best to explain it. Obviously starting to reduce the power as well, because we are up to 120 miles an hour. I can see another single yellow signal as well, so just okay, it's gone up to a green. I almost forgot to acknowledge the AWS alert. That would have been very bad. I could have got a peak emergency brake application. Yeah, so with neutral sections, I think it's the overhead cables, that carry the 25,000 volts of power. Each section, the flow of the 25,000 volts is not continuous. It's split into different sections. I think those sections are like, I think they stretch over, I think the distance between it can vary, but I think it's about 10 or 20 miles or something. That's how long each section is, and between each section is a section of the overhead cables that is more or less unelectrified. So to when you enter that section, the circuit breaker of the train opens and the power more or less momentarily shuts off. I'm not sure why it does that. I think it's to I'm not too clued up on it. I'll be honest, I'm not too clued up on it. But yeah, so I know with older trains it's good practice to shut off the power. So stop accelerating as you pass through the neutral section. And I think I don't know. I need to do some research on that, to be honest. Yeah. Right, so not too far from here, we're gonna have a reduction in the speed limit down to 115 miles an hour. So we've got this right hand curve coming up. I think there's a second right hand curve after this, and then that is followed by a left hand curve, and the 115 mile an hour speed limit commences about half a mile after the exit of the left hand curve. I think it's been a while. So I'm gonna try to accelerate up to 125, and then I'm gonna shut off the power as we enter the second right hand curve. Yeah, so I'm gonna shut off the power now. I just let our speed fall off down to 115. I might have left it a bit too late. I might need to momentarily tap on the brakes, but we'll see what happens. Back on the topic of neutral sections, the neutral section, the warning board for the neutral section is the black, I can't even describe what it looks like. It's like it has a black background and some white symbol in it, and then the commencement board of the neutral section is the reverse, so a white background with a black symbol in it. So we're down to 115, so I've gone back into power notch 1. You can see the warning board for the 115 limit now. So I did shut off the power a bit too early. I could have left it a bit later, but better safe than sorry. And the commencement for the 115 limit is just before entering this tunnel. And we're not too far out from Retford Station right now, so we should see a double yellow signal very shortly. Speed limit does also go up to 120 miles an hour somewhere around here, but I don't think there's any point in us accelerating up to that, because we're going to need to slow down for Retford Station very shortly. But if you weren't stopping at Retford Station, then by all means accelerate. Okay, so it's speed limit went up to 120 miles an hour, by the way, and it's a flashing double yellow signal. So it's not a solid single yellow signal. So the signal protecting the turnout into Retford Station has already it's currently displaying a proceed aspect, but the flashing signals in advance of that are just prompting us to slow down for the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit associated with the turnout. So I'm just doing that now. I had a 60% brake application initially. I momentarily reduced it to minimal, but I'm going back into 60 now, back down to minimal. So we passed the flashing single yellow signal, so the following signal should have a position 1 junction indicator, so 5 white lights pointing diagonally upwards to the left, I mean. Yep, there we go, and it is displaying a green aspect. So aim to be passing that signal at no faster than 50 miles an hour, I'd say. And then from there, minimal brake application down to 40 miles an hour for the turnout. If you're continuing straight, you weren't stopping at Retford Station, you just continue at 120, your signals will just be displaying the normal green, or they will just, the signals will be behaving normally, more or less. And then you have a increase in the speed limit up to 125 miles an hour if you're continuing on the track to our right, but we need to do 40 miles an hour because we are on a turnout. Yeah, so I've just gone back into the minimal brake application as we get closer to the platforms here at Retford Station. Entry speed of 30 miles an hour, which is perfect. You can see the signal at the end of the platform at Retford Station is displaying a position 4 junction indicator. So 5 white lights pointing diagonally upwards to the right. So we are going to be routed back onto the track immediately to our right, immediately after departing from Retford Station. So I'm just bouncing between the minimal and the release position to bring us to a nice controlled stop here. Trying to stop with the stop board in the window there. Perfect. Where I stand, maximum braking, neutral on the F&R switch, and we have a door release on the right. Right, so we are down to 30 seconds prior to our departure time. We have a green signal, position 4 junction indication. Glancing at the monitors, door close button. We have interlock, a final glance of the CCTV monitors and the signal. Selecting forward on the F&R switch, minimal braking, power notch 1, and we are now moving, so up to power notch 2. Keeping in mind that the speed limit is currently 40 miles an hour until we rejoin the track to our right. Up to power notch 3. There was a big plane flying over my house. Apologies if you guys can hear that. I'm going to reduce the power down to notch 1 as we get up to 35 miles an hour. So by the time we reach 40 miles an hour, we should be clear of the point work that connects us to the track that we're currently on, and we'll be able to accelerate up to 125 miles an hour. So we should now be clear of that. So I've gone back into full power. Next and final station is Doncaster. Yeah, this route is actually very easy to learn. I remember when it first came out, I was watching the YouTube videos and it was actually quite intimidating. But no, it's actually ridiculously easy to learn. The Birmingham Cross City, oh my goodness, I need to buy that. Ooh, I'm gonna buy that tomorrow. I'm gonna buy that tomorrow. Yeah, I need to learn that so I can start doing videos on that. I need to buy. I'm also gonna buy the Glossop line and the that Scotland route. Sorry guys, but I'm only gonna be doing British electric multiple units on my channel, well for now anyway, because that is what I specialize in. I'm not trying to do any of this steam or diesel stuff, and I'm not doing any outside of the UK stuff either. So yeah. Actually, that being said, if there are some diesel multiple units that I'm open to driving, um, but they'd have to be modern diesel units, and they would have to also still currently be in service as well. I'm trying to do a whole. I'm trying to be very realistic with the content that I upload, so I'm not trying to do anything outdated. So the HST, for example, that's not in service anymore, so you're not going to see me driving that. What else? And yeah, these are some of the routes that are set like back in the day. The routes that are set in the past and they aren't set in the present day, I'm going to be staying away from those as well. I'm literally just going to be doing up-to-date modern stuff with realistic traction. So for example, one train that I'd be open to drive if they ever released it would be the Class 171 Turbo Star. The Class 171 Turbo Stars are going through quite a funny stage at the moment. They've the four carriage trains got chopped down into three carriages. I think some of them are getting sent um to the um up to the Midlands. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's happening with Southern in general. I think ever since the Class 455s got taken out of service, Southern has just been doing a madness. The Class 455s didn't need to go. Like, I'll be so honest. Oh yeah, we're up to 122 miles an hour by the way. So I've just reduced the power to notch 2 just to try to balance out the speed. Yeah, the Class 455s for Southern, they were fine. They didn't need to go. Because now you've got a bunch of shorter trains doing busy rush hour services. No one could get any seats. It's silly. The 455 should have stayed until some new stock was either sent over from a different train operating company or new stock was ordered for Southern. because the class 377s, they're they are doing the job for now, but they're barely pulling it off. I'll be honest. Um, yeah, I feel like all the train operating companies are having a massive game of I'd say, is it Monopoly, chess? They're more or less just switching. They're playing past the parcel with their trains. Like bare different trains are getting sent around between bare different train operating companies. I'm fairly sure that Sovereign is due to inherit. Um, oof. Okay, I was talking too much and I got distracted. So we passed a warning board regarding a reduction in the speed limit down to 110 miles an hour. So I've made a minimal brake application. Momentarily went up to about 40% there, and I've now released the brakes now that we're down to 110. It's a good thing there was a warning board for that. Yeah, speed limit is now 110 miles an hour momentarily, then it goes back up to 125. So we've rolled down to 107, so I've just gone back into notch 2 of power to creep back up towards 110. There's another neutral section here, so I'm just going to shut off the power momentarily. And I don't even know where the neutral section ends. Again, like I said, with older trains, the circuit breaker momentarily opens and then the line vault light goes off and you hear a massive bang. And then once the circuit breaker closes, the line vault light comes back on. So that's how you know that you're clear of the neutral section, but that doesn't happen with this train. So I don't know where. Yeah. Anyway, speed limit is now 125 miles an hour, so I've gone back into full power. I've done a terrible job at maintaining 110 miles an hour. I think we're on an upward gradient at the moment. That's another thing that I need to learn, the gradients for this route. But I find that the gradients don't. Hold on, double yellow signal, minimal brake application. Okay, it's gone back up to green. I find that the gradients don't really matter on this route because the class 801 seems to. It's able to maintain an exact speed quite well. I've noticed when it's on a downward gradient, like the section between Grantham and Peterborough, for example, that's a predominantly downward gradient known as Stoke Bank. But even when you have the power shut off, the train it doesn't really roll, it doesn't really accelerate. It just maintains a constant speed. Whereas with other trains, when you're going down a downward gradient and you have the power shut off, the gravity is gonna bring your speed up. So you have to apply the brakes at some point if you don't want to exceed the speed limit. But yeah, the 801 doesn't do that, which I find interesting. So yeah, the gradients don't really matter on this route, so I haven't really made an effort to learn them, and I don't think I'm going to be honest, because they don't matter. If I'm driving another train on this route that does get affected by the gradients, then that's when I'll make an effort to learn them, but I just don't need to know them. Like the 801 isn't affected by gradients. So back up to 125 miles an hour, so just in power notch 1 at the moment, and I'll adjust the power notch if necessary. We're not too far out from Doncaster station right now. Just going to shut off the power there because we were pushing towards 125. And I'm now going to make no further power applications because we're going to soon need to start reducing our speed for the approach into Doncaster station. Speed limit for, in fact, I'm going to make my minimal brake application from now. So this is a double yellow signal that tells us that we are three signal spacings out from Doncaster station. So the signal protecting Doncaster station is currently displaying a red aspect, and it will be held at a red aspect because the speed limit for the turnout into the platform at Doncaster station is 35 miles an hour, Speed limit's gone down to 120 miles an hour, by the way, but by this point you should already be slowing down. So yeah, we now got a single yellow signal. We're down to 70 miles an hour passing that, which is perfect. 70 miles an hour is a speed that you want to aim to be passing a single yellow signal at. So yeah, speed limit for the turnout into Doncaster station is 35 miles an hour, although I think 35 miles an hour is a bit too fast for that section of track. So I normally do about 30 or so going over there. It's like if you do 35, it just, there's a bit of a jolt, so I just think 30 is more appropriate. But that's just me being me. In reality, speed limit is 35 going into the turnout for Doncaster station, but I don't think the jolt would exist like that in real life. I think it's just been the turning radius of the turnout in trains in world is just a bit too tight. So I just prefer going over it at 30 miles an hour. So we're getting closer to the signal here. You can see it in the distance. You can see these little countdown markers as well. So we had the 3 diagonal red lines on the black background. We just passed the 2 diagonal red lines on the black background. White background, not black background. And we have the 1 diagonal red diagonal marker on the white background. So those are just countdown markers for the signal, similar to what you'd see on the motorway for countdown markers to the junction. So I decelerated down to 20 miles an hour before passing over the AWS magnet associated with the signal. Always aim to do that as well. And as we approached the signal, it cleared to a single yellow aspect with position 1 junction indicator, telling us that we are being routed onto the turnout into Doncaster station. So yeah, we're now passing over the turnout, and you can see what I was talking about. The turning radius just seems very tight. 35 miles an hour over that just seems like overkill. So yeah, I'm just doing 25 going over that just to be safe. Now that we've entered the platform, I'm making a minimal brake application to reduce our speed down to 20 miles an hour before passing over the AWS magnet associated with the red signal at the end of the platform. Acknowledging the AWS alert regarding the red signal at the end of the platform. Stopping position is at the end of the platform. So I'm just using some bursts of the minimal brake application to come to a nice and controlled stop here. There's the stop board coming up here, trying to put that in the window, just like so. Perfect. Now that we're at a stand, maximum braking, F and R switch into neutral, setting the driver reminder appliance because we have a red signal and we have a door release on the left. Right, now that our doors are open, selecting the off position on the F and R switch, removing the master key, coming back to the safety systems panel, turning the European train control, train protection warning system / automatic warning system, vigilance and driver safety device isolation switches. All 4 of those, you want to turn those into the horizontal isolated positions. You want to get out of the cab. You want to return to free roam. And you want to come and look at the front of the train to do the outro. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this commentated drive. Constructive feedback and criticism is more than welcome in the comment section below and is highly appreciated. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.